Hello. So we are doing Algebra 2, Chapter 3.6, Quadratic Inequalities. So quadratic inequality in two variables like x and y here can be written in these forms, like here it is less than or less than equal to, greater than or greater than equal to. And here A, B, C are real numbers and A is not equal to 0. If A is equal to 0, then it will not be a quadratic equation. So let's do some questions of graphing and then it will be more clear. So this is question 7. Y is less than minus x square, and we have to graph. So first we will graph y is equal to, make a table for y is equal to x square and graph that. So this is a table. We took a 5 values for x with, and we see that all values are negative because it is y is equal to negative x square. So let's graph now. So this is an approximate graph of y is equal to negative x square. It's dotted because there is no equal to sign. If it is equal to sign like this, then we make it a solid line. Now we have to tell we have to graph this inequality. So we have to shade the portion which is the solution of the inequality. So in general, we can test 0, 0 or the origin if the graph is not passing through 0, 0 because it's easier to calculate. But since it is passing through 0, 0, let's take any other point. So we can take a point here which is 0, negative 1. And let's check it whether it is the part of the solution of inequality or not. So we see if we put negative x as 0 and y as negative 1, then negative 1 is less than 0. This is true. It means this point is the solution of the inequality. So we can shade this part, means the inside of the region inside the parabola is the solution of the inequality. So we shade this portion and we see that 0 minus 1 is the solution and the shaded portion is the solution of the inequality. Since 0, negative 1 lies inside the parabola, the inside part of this parabola is the solution of the inequality. Let's do another question. So these are the 3 points we get by putting X, and this is the vertex. So let's graph this. So our graph will look like this, and because it is not equal to sign, it is just greater than, we make it dotted. Okay. Now, because it is not passing through 0, 0, we can test for 0, 0 if 0, 0 lies in the graph or is the solution of the inequality or not. So when we test for 0, 0, we see that we get 0 is greater than 17, which is not true. So this 0 lying here is not the part of the solution. So we shade, so region outside the parabola is not the solution. So region inside the parabola is part of the solution. So we've shaded the parabola and that is the solution of the inequality given here. Okay, let's do another question. So we have to graph this inequality in question 14, and we see that this is less than equal to sign. It means it will be a dotted. It will not be a dotted, it will be a solid line. So let's make a table of values and graph this. So these are the 3 points we get, vertex and these 3 points. So let's graph them. Now, since we see that graph is not passing through 0, 0, so it's easier to test for 0, 0. We can take any other point inside and outside parabola and test for that. But 0, 0 is easier to test, and because the graph is not passing through that, otherwise we will have to take any other point. So as we put 0 as x and 0 as y, we see that inequality says 0 is less than 11 by 4, less than equal to 11 by 4, and this is true. So we see that this point 0, 0 is the solution of the inequality. So portion region outside the parabola is the solution of the inequality. So this we have shaded the portion outside the parabola, and that is the solution of the inequality. Let's now do the questions where we'll graph the system of quadratic inequalities, like the two equations. And so these are the two equations, and we have to graph them. So we already know how to graph them. We know we should know learn to how to graph the solution of the inequality. Okay. This is the vertex we got, and we got two easy points, easy to calculate. When we put x is 0, we get -5, and x is 1, we get -2. So let's graph this, and because this has a equal to sign, it will be a solid line. So now this is the graph, and let's test it for 0, 0, because it's not passing through 0, 0. So we see that if we put x and y as 0, 0 comes out to be, this is the equation, 0 is greater than -5, and it is true. It means this 0, 0 is the part of the solution. Okay, so we will shade the inside part of the parabola. So we shade the region inside the parabola as 0, 0 is the part of the solution and it lies inside the parabola. So let's do equation second and let's graph that. So this is a vertex and these are the other 2 points which will help us in graphing. So let's graph them. Now, because this doesn't have a equal to sign, we will make it this line as a dotted, not a solid line. Now let's test for 0, 0 if it lies in if it is the solution of the inequality or not. So we see that 0, when we test for 0, 0, we see that 0 is less than 10, which is true. It means this portion 0, 0 is the part of the solution. So we will shade inside the parabola. So we have shaded the green part here. That is the solution of the inequality because we tested for 0, 0 and that was the solution of the inequality. Now we have to find the uh, uh, solution of the system of equations. So we have to find the region where two graphs overlap, where the solution of the two graphs overlap. So let's draw the two graphs in on a single, two equations on a single graph and see which portions overlap. So now we have drawn both the graphs here. The red is the first equation and the blue one is the second equation. Blue one is dotted because there is no equal to sign here. So let's first shade the solution of for equation 1, and we see that the solution of the equation 1 was here, the part inside the parabola. So this is the orange color here, that is the solution for equation 1. Now let's shade the solution of equation 2. So we here see that equation 2 is also the inside part of the parabola. So so we have shaded the solution of the equation 2, which is light blue color, and this one orange color is the solution of equation 1. And this is equation 2 is dotted because there is no equal to sign. Now the region where the two graphs overlap is the solution of the equation. So the two parts overlap is this region with the green color, where orange and light blue color both markings are, both shades are there. So this green color is the solution of the system of equations. Okay. So the overlap, the region where the two graphs overlap is the solution of the equations, system of equations. Now let's do one more problem. So this is question 34, and we have to solve the equation algebraically. So for this, first thing is we'll uh, bring this 1 on the left side and then try to solve this. So subtracting 1 from both sides will give us 0 on the right hand side. Now we can multiply the whole equation by 2 to make the numbers little easier. So we'll multiply this equation by 2. Now we can multiply this equation by negative, and we see that if we multiply this by negative, then we will change the sign. So this is gives, if we multiply by negative, we will change the sign. So this gives greater than equal to 0. So we get this equation. Now let's replace this greater than equal to with equal to sign to get the critical values. So let's try to get the value of x, but it's difficult to factorize it. So we will use the quadratic formula. So this is the quadratic formula we will use, which is given over here. So we see that A here is 1, B is -8, B is -8, and C is 2. When we put the values, we get the two values of x like this. So these are the critical values of the inequality. So these are the critical values of inequality. Now let's graph them. So we have plotted 2 points, 4 minus root 14 and 4 plus root 14 here. And these are the closed dots because we see the inequality was having equal to sign. Okay. So these are the closed dots. Now let's check them. So let's check if x is equal to 0 is part of the solution. So let's substitute that. So 2 is greater than 0. It means that that is the part, the 0 is part of the solution. So we will draw like this. Now let's check any point between 4 minus root 14 and 4 plus root 14. So let's test for x is equal to 1. So it comes out to be like minus 5 is greater than equal to 0, which is not true. So minus 1 is not a solution. Plus 1 is not a solution. 0 was one of the solutions. Okay. Now let's check any other point over here. So we can check for this is 4 plus under root 14 is like less than 4. So we can check for 8 because 8 would be somewhere here. Okay. Let's check for x is equal to. So when we check this, we see that we get 2 is greater than equal to 0, which is true. It means x is equal to 8 is part of the solution. Here it was 8. This was it. Okay. So this is the solution. So solution is x is less than 4 minus negative 14 and x is greater than 4 plus square root 14. And if we can use this equation to check it, or we can use the original equation to check it. It's both way, it should give the correct, but we should see that we are using the correct sign. We could have used this for testing, or we are using this for testing, which we manipulated here. Okay. So I have used this, but you can use either of them. Okay, please let me know if you need any help, or please keep practicing. Please do each question of the exercise and feel free to let me know if you have any difficulty. We'll see in the next class. Thank you.